So I lost the original comment, but somebody commented on one of our videos that our haircut looks like we would be selling rat burgers out of the sewer. And we are so fucking trans and autistic that our first impulse to that was to type out, "Aw, thank you."
This is the Pillow Fort system, aka Vermin and Rats, aka I collect more disorders than Thanos collects Infinity Stones. If there's a disorder in the DSM-5, she has it. Narcolepsy, yes. DID, absolutely. Demonic manifestation and the embodiment of the Holy Ghost, absolutely she does. Baby, she's got it. The first Infinity Stone, I mean disorder, we're going to look at today is going to be their claim of having Tourette's.
We as a system have Tourette's, and anyone fronting can experience tics. However, one of the benefits that we did not expect when we began unmasking being a system, especially not trying to make everyone be vermin and sound vermin, is that our tics have become far more manageable. We still have tics occasionally throughout the day, but they're usually verbal tics, not very many physical tics. And we've had, I think, one tic attack in the last month, as opposed to at one point we're having them like every week or every other week. So that's been nice.
Now, I don't wish Tourette's on anybody. I couldn't imagine having it myself and spasming out and saying things that could potentially cause harm to me or people around me. So just remember, when we go through these videos, we're going to be looking for her tics. However, she said they're mostly verbal, very rarely physical, which is really weird because last time I checked her channel out, her tics seemed to be physical and not verbal at all.
So we have Tourette's, and unless you are an avid watcher of our page,
from my understanding, that was one of her physical tics right there, where she looks up like this and then looks back to the camera.
Are an avid watcher of our page, or you have Tourette's yourself and you know how to pick out subtler tics, you may not have realized that. Like, Reddit bro brand fake claimers love to lose their shit about how we don't tick in every video, which is very funny because no, we don't tick in every video, but we do tick in a lot of them, and people don't comment on it a lot of the times because a lot of our ticks are pretty subtle, and people don't tend to pick up on the fact that we're ticking at all.
How would they not know that you were ticking in all these videos? Because remember, you said that the majority of your tics are verbal and not physical. So wouldn't it be weird if you were in the middle of a conversation and you busted out with a word that had nothing to do with the current conversation going on? Or maybe you misspoke. Maybe you meant to say most of your tics are physical, but somehow you ticked out the word verbal instead?
We have tics where we will like look up, ones where we like flip our head or make like weird facial expressions. And generally those are pretty easy to not notice or to cut around, especially because our body language is already a little bit abnormal because we are autistic. Whether or not we're ticking, we are often looking off screen because it's sometimes a little overstimulating and uncomfortable for us to look ourselves in the face or look directly into the camera.
I mean, it could very well be the autism, or it could be the hair. I don't know.
We actually used to have another page, which we have privated. We don't really post on there anymore. But we talked a lot more about Tourette's at that point in time because our Tourette's were much, much worse than they are currently. At the time that we were posting about Tourette's on our other page, we were working at Starbucks. We were incredibly stressed, incredibly burnt out.
Look, I don't want to be that guy, but I'm 99% sure that 99% of people that happen to look like her do happen to work at Starbucks. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing because the people at Starbucks provide a service to their community. However, there's not really more that goes into Starbucks other than making drinks for people during rush hour.
And severely, like dangerously sleep deprived. Like 3 hours of sleep a night, most nights, if we were lucky, sleep deprived.
In most cases, 3 hours of sleep isn't going to be a lot unless you're blessed to be manic depressive like me, and then 3 hours is really all you need to get the old hypomania going.
I don't even want to think about the amount of brain damage that we have occurred from that. But pretty much all of the factors that we've identified that make our tics worse were real bad at that point in time. We were sleep deprived, we were drinking too much caffeine, we were incredibly stressed, we were burnt out, and we were not eating enough, and all of those things make our tics much worse. For point of reference, we still tic throughout the day, but we have not had a tic attack in like 4 or 5 months, and at the time that we had our other page, for a while there, we were having tic attacks at least once a week, sometimes every day or every other day, sometimes multiple times a day. It was genuinely very debilitating. And because our tics were such a huge part of our life at that point in time, we made a lot of content about them. And let me tell you, if you have never openly posted about your Tourette's online, it is a shit show.
To me, it seems like posting about Tourette's online would be problematic if you didn't actually have it. However, there are plenty of creators out there that do have it and do discuss having it on a daily basis that are well accepted. You, on the other hand, seem to have more problems on the line than a tech support company in India.
The type of audience that we are hoping to attract when we talk about our disabilities are either people who have that disability and are looking for representation and community, or people who don't have the disability but are willing to learn about it and want to see what it is like for other people to live with that disorder respectfully, without infantilizing us, dehumanizing us, or generally turning us into inspiration corn. And while we did attract a lot of that audience, it was not the majority. We gained a huge amount of followers who exclusively followed us because they wanted to watch our tics like it was some sort of spectacle. Because our voice tends to go up several octaves and we had a number of like cutesy tics, we were heavily infantilized, even though tics are involuntary and mean nothing about the person who is having the tics. And we attracted a lot of fetishists. If you don't know, disability fetishists are a problem for pretty much any disability, but there are specific disabilities that have their own fan group.
I'm just saying, bipolar type 1, who's into that? Who wants to clap these cheeks? Bro, I got a fatty, what can I say? I know how to throw that shit back, boy!
I don't know what else to call that. So we had to field a lot of comments and DMs from creepy older men who wanted to let us know that our disability was sexy to them.
I'm not sure if I believe that. I could be wrong, but I don't feel that there's a lot of guys sliding into your DMs.
So for those reasons, and again, because it isn't the main thing that is currently affecting our lives, we have not posted a lot about Tourette's on this page. And a lot of the times if we...
So that's it. That's your verbal tic? He, him. Those are your fucking pronouns according to you. Not to mention, I think I remember you saying something about how rare your physical tics are compared to your verbal tics.
We still have tics occasionally throughout the day, but they're usually verbal tics, not very many physical tics.
Are you shitting me? Are you fucking with me right now? Because right now we're batting a 31-1 difference. There are fighters in the MMA that would literally trade their soul for that record.
If we're having a particularly bad tic day, we either won't film that day or we will just retake segments and cut around the worst of it. Which means that when we do openly tic on videos, especially when our tics are a little bit worse, we get a ton of comments from people who are really concerned and don't understand what's happening or why. And I get it, but it is frustrating.
Honest to God, I had to cut it off because I couldn't take it anymore. It's just bullshit after bullshit after bullshit. However, I do want to play one more, and that's going to segue into the next topic of DID.
Fuck. Bop it, twist it. Bop it, twist it, pull it. Fuck. Bum 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 bum. Call me daddy. Call me daddy. Motherfuck. Bop it.
I'm not saying that it's fake. However, I am strongly alleging it. I just think it's kind of weird how in a 7-minute video, they didn't have one verbal tick that wasn't him. And then out of nowhere, they're filming a video about the Bop It tick, and then they start fucking bopping it, twisting it, and pulling it everywhere. Call me daddy. Let's move into the DID/catatonia. And if you're someone like me who doesn't know what catatonia is, here is the definition. Catatonia is a state of neuropsychiatric abnormality characterized by motor immobility and behavioral abnormalities. It is marked by a range of symptoms such as stupor, mutism, negativism, posturing, rigidity, and sometimes agitation. Catatonia can occur in the context of various psychiatric and medical conditions, including schizophrenia, mood disorders such as bipolar disorder, and major depressive disorder. In general medical conditions, it is diagnosed based on clinical observation and treated with medications like benzodiazepines or interventions like electroconvulsive therapy. Given the fact that she keeps breaking down and can't act as a functioning member of society, I doubt she's actually on the benzodiazepines, and I would be shocked to find out if she was taking electric convulsive therapy.
So, I am proud to be autistic and I'm proud to be disabled. And, shit. Fucking focus. I got it.
See, the crazy thing is they happen to know that they're going into a catatonic state, so they're going to put the phone down in a position to record it convenient. However, according to Google, individuals do not typically know in advance when they will experience catatonia. The onset can be sudden or gradual, and it often occurs in the context of underlying psychiatric or medical conditions. And according to the clevelandclinic.org, catatonia happens unpredictably and for reasons that experts still don't fully understand, so it isn't possible to prevent it or reduce your risk of it happening. It's my personal opinion that since most people don't know that it's coming on, this person doesn't either. Honestly, I'd show you the video after that, but it's kind of boring. It's just them laying there switching and twitching for about 2 minutes. Here I'm speeding it up. You can see that they've entered the catatonic state and Vermin is still hanging around in the front. He's just unable to move. Again, they say that they're switching and twitching, therefore someone is switching into this body. Here they ask who it is, they get a response, it is who it is, and then they immediately look at the phone and pick it up and say, oh, okay. But again, one of the symptoms of DID is amnesia, which means that she wouldn't have just known the phone was there, looked directly at it, and picked it up. She would have had to seen it there, realized what was going on, and then pick it up, but she instinctively knew what to do. Not to mention that it is who it is seemed kind of ominous. Maybe it was a demon.
I guess I am an alter? But then what's the point? All I know is destroying people's minds and laying siege to worlds. What am I even doing if... What?
I like your horns.
Okay. Shoo. Get out of here. Be gone. Away from me, child.
I'll be honest, this is probably one of the first times I've ever heard one of these people to tell a child to get away. You could say that this is just a skit, no big deal, what's the harm? And I would say there is none. You're right, let's make fun of people that have been violently assaulted as children. I mean, sure, pretend to be a demon alter talking to a child alter within your system. That doesn't affect me. However, do you know what does affect me? That you labeled this a comedy sketch. According to you, this is a skit, joke, humor, funny, DID talk, dissociative identity disorder, system talk, did system, comedy skit, funny skit, did memes, did jokes, system memes, system jokes. The only problem is that none of this is actually funny. None of the 2 minutes and 30 seconds of a skit you put on was actually funny. And maybe one day you'll realize that when no one's laughing at your jokes, you are the joke. So they have a demon alter, then they have an alter that chronically has to masturbate every night so that they can sleep.
So you're a sexual protector. Mm-hmm. But you front like a lot.
And you front much easier than a lot of the other alters? Yes, that is correct. That's really interesting. I wonder why that is. Oh, I know why that is. Do you want me to tell you? Yes. It's because we're autistic, and part of our autistic routine is that we have to play with ourselves before bed every single night before we go to sleep, or we can't go to sleep.
So here you have it in her own words. Every night she has to masturbate before bed. Knowing that all the alters exist in headspace, there are children present when she is doing this. You could say that she is acting inappropriately around children. However, when she is not maliciously flicking the bean, she is Jesus.
The day I found out my parents' dog was put down a year ago, and apparently I already knew this. I do not remember. So it'd be nice to figure out who has that information. Also, we have a Jesus fictive. I'm throwing out this whole day. This whole day goes in the bin.
Now, I know that in the Bible it says that Jesus lives in you. However, I don't think you are supposed to take it literally. And now that we have the information that Jesus literally lives inside of you, I wonder how he feels with you playing ding dong ditch on the fucking devil's doorbell. That's a swing term for the quitterous. Moving away from mangling the meat of the Messianic Messiah, we're going to talk about some of their other issues that they happen to have. So not only does she claim to have DID, which is extremely rare, only affecting about 1.5% of the population globally. She also has Tourette's, catatonia, autism, and now she claims that she has ADHD.
All right, well, everything here seems great and good and dandy, and I don't want to follow up on any of it. A recommendation to someone else? For what? Autism. ADHD. Autism, ADHD. Ehlers down low. You little hypochondriac.
2-minute video, 0 ticks. So she's not just claiming autism, she's not just claiming ADHD, she's claiming both, which is very important when it comes to talking statistics. Autism and ADHD, referred to as AUDHD when co-occurring, are both relatively common neurodevelopmental disorders. However, estimating the percentage of the population that has both conditions concurrently can be challenging due to various diagnostic criteria, reporting practices, and study methodologies. About 1 in 54 children in the United States of America will be diagnosed with ASD, which is autism spectrum disorder. As for ADHD in America, it affects about 6 to 9% of children and about 4% of adults. Research indicates that around 30 to 50% of individuals with ASD also have symptoms of ADHD. Similarly, around 20 to 50% of individuals with ADHD exhibit symptoms of ASD. And at this moment, you could be thinking, wow, those are pretty high percentages. There seems like a good chance that she might have these disorders. However, that's not quite how statistics work. The general prevalence of ASD is approximately 1.85%, and the general prevalence of ADHD is approximately 6.76%. If we assume an overlap of around 30% for co-occurrences, then approximately 0.5 to 1.5% of the population have both ASD and ADHD. And on top of the AUDHD in the same clip, they claim to have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. EDS is a group of genetic connective tissue disorders characterized by varying degrees of skin hyperextensibility, joint hypermobility, and tissue fragility. It is caused by defects in the structure, production, or processing of collagen, which is a key protein that provides strength and elasticity to connective tissues throughout the body. Before I go any further and tell you how rare EDS is, why don't you pause the video and just take a guess. Take a percentage guess of how rare EDS actually is. I'm waiting. Are you done? When considering all types of EDS collectively, the overall prevalence is estimated to be approximately 1 in 5,000 to 1 in 10,000 people. This means that about 0.01% to 0.02% of the population is affected by some form of EDS. To put that into perspective, you have the equivalent chance of finding a 4-leaf clover or having an identical set of triplets. Then on top of all that even further, they happen to have narcolepsy. Narcolepsy of all things.
Okay, I want to get your advice on something because I think the tism might be tisming. Oh yeah? So in my doing research on narcolepsy, I found this thing called the Epworth Sleepiness Scale, and I've tried to take it, but I think that I'm interpreting the way that it's telling you to grade it, like, I think I'm doing that thing that we did with, like, the autism assessment, where, like, I'm taking things way too literally and specifically, and I'm, like, underscoring myself, and I just want to get a second opinion.
Whoa. Is she taking tests online to determine what disorder she has? Because I've been searching her channel, but I have not been able to find one clip of her going to a psychiatrist, a psychologist, a student counselor, a guru, a yogi, a mystic, a shaman, anything that would prove to me that someone else looked at her and said, "You're fucked up." However, to me, it sounds like she's taking a test to determine whether or not she has narcolepsy the same way that she determined that she has autism with an online test. Is somebody self-diagnosing?
All right, so how does the scale work? Okay, so it says you're scoring on 0 to 3. 0 is a no chance of dozing, 3 being a high chance of dozing. But then when it says on actually how to grade it, it says that you should rate your chances of dozing off, not just feeling tired. Okay. So I initially graded it as like a 3 is I physically could not stop myself from falling asleep in those scenarios. Like no matter how hard I fight my body, I am going to fall asleep at least some of the time. Vermin, no. No? Okay, so think about it like this. It's going to give you little like scenarios, right? And you have to grade how likely you were to fall asleep in that scenario. So if that happened to you 3 times, out of those 3 times, how many times would you be fighting not to fall asleep?
Now, I'm not sure if you've ever taken an online test like this. I personally take them all the time. It took me forever to figure out my MBTI type. And I think that had a lot to do with the fact that I might have been hypomanic, so I was presenting and thinking in ways that I wouldn't normally think. However, the reason I bring that up is personal anecdote, because I understand how easy it is to manipulate tests like these to give me the results that I actually want. For example, it's very easy to find groups that agree that you're Jesus Christ when everyone else in that group is also suffering from some type of psychosis and delusions of grandeur. However, after I got out of Low Country Transitions unit, when I tried to pull that shit with my therapist, she called me on it. However, cucumbers are 98% water and I can walk on cucumbers, therefore I am 98% Jesus, which is a better claim than any of the Pillow Fort system's imaginary friends.
Okay, so if I have to actively fight it and or I have a system in place, that counts. Okay, that's helpful. Thank you. Do you want to run through the little list thing? Yeah, right. So the first one is sitting and reading. And what did you do the first time? A 2. And what would you rate that now? Oh, that's definitely a 3. That's definitely a 3. Sitting and reading always makes me sleepy. Yeah, that's definitely a 3. The next one's watching TV. I feel like that might be a 2. I mean, it depends. It depends a little bit on, like, the media that I'm watching, you know, because, like, some things don't make me sleepy, but anything that's, like, really strong emotions or, you know, a piece of comfort media or really, I guess if I sit and, yeah, it's a 3. Yeah, I was about to say, I've watched TV with you before, my guy. As a passenger in a car for an hour without a break. Oh, that's easily a 3. For an hour? For, like, I get sleepy after, like, 5 to 10 minutes in the car. Yeah, again, I've watched you sit in the passenger seat and just like drop the entire ride to work, lying down to rest in the afternoon when circumstances permit. That's a 3. Sitting and talking to somebody. That's obviously a 3. Sitting quietly after lunch without alcohol. That's also a 3. In the car while stopped for a few minutes in traffic. Yeah. So that was all 3s.
So much like old Beatrice in the last video, apparently people have a feeling that they can operate a large piece of machinery that could potentially harm somebody else while they're not equipped to. But no, you're right, it's real fucking funny. Let's just fall asleep while we're driving. But I get it now. Vermin falls asleep, another altar takes over. It's literally Jesus takes the wheel. You better subscribe for that one. That one was really good comedy.
What did you score the first time? A 12. And what'd you get this time? A 24.
Yeah, we're gonna get you into the doctor. I'm tired. Clinically EP.
It is just so wild to me to process that other people are not constantly fighting to stay awake and upright all day. Like, what? Yeah, my guy, I bet.
I just thought everybody had these moments in the middle of the day where, like, you start to drift off and then, like, your head hits your chest and the snap, like, wakes you up, you know?
Vermin. When I am so tired that I'm dozing off in the middle of the day, it's not my head drop that wakes me up. I'm a little foggy and I'm out of it, but I don't get that tired.
Oh. Yeah.
What the fuck does that mean? There was no sensible dialogue there. There was no information to extrapolate a meaning from.
Fuck. Shit.
They just came off screen. You didn't see it. That's the only way they were going to be able to fall asleep, because remember, they have autism and they have to rub one out before they can sleep. You got to hit them with the old DJ, the error on the ones and twos, spinning the hottest clips of the 90s, 2000s, and today. Does anybody out there in the world of YouTubes want to take a guess at how rare narcolepsy with symptoms of cataplexy actually is? Cataplexy is a symptom that occurs in individuals with narcolepsy type 1, narcolepsy with cataplexy. The prevalence of narcolepsy with cataplexy in the general population is estimated to be approximately 0.2% to 0.5%. This bitch is a unicorn. Well, not literally. One of her alters is My Little Pony, but goddamn it, if they can stretch the fucking truth, so can I. Then on top of that, they're fucking lucid dreaming like Juice WRLD. Rest in peace.
So we keep seeing these skits of people saying that they're having lucid dreams where they realize that they're dreaming and they mention it to somebody else in the dream. The person's like, "You're not supposed to know that. You need to wake up," you know. And I think that's really funny. Because we also have experienced lucid dreams before, and that has not been our experience. Now, usually we would just keep it to ourselves if we realized we were dreaming, because it was more fun that way. But this is a reenactment of when we did tell people, "I'm in a dream. You're not even fucking real." What? Yeah, that's why we can breathe underwater. I can't. Yeah, shit. Now what? I don't know. I was gonna keep swimming. Okay. I'm just gonna pretend like you didn't tell me that. You're probably not gonna be here when I leave this part of the dream. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, those are the like cool conspiracy dreams are not universal.
I feel like everything that they do or have is what somebody else does or has, but they just happen to do it better. You have trauma, I have dissociative identity disorder. You have lucid dreams, I troll my lucid dreams. Honest to God, at this point, I would believe that Joe Biden is mentally fucking cognizant before I believe a fucking word out of their mouth. I paid Medicare. Honest to God, at this point, I can't stand it. I just can't look at any more of their TikToks. At this point, I'm just going to list out every symptom, sign, or curse from God that this person claims that they have. EDS, narcolepsy, catatonia, DID, autism, ADHD, demonic possession, possessed by Christ, chronic masturbation, the chronic 2 by Dr. Dre. So let's play a game. I am going to take all of the percentages of all the things that they claim that they have, and I'm going to run it through Google, and I'm going to provide the math and all that good shit. I want you to take a guess at the number of probability that they have all of these things that they claim they have. 1 out of 10, 1 out of 20, 1 out of 1,000,000. Just lock it down in the comment section, and if you're right, then you don't have to subscribe. If you're wrong, hit the fucking button. Here are all the percentages in decimal form. Narcolepsy type 1, 0.0002. DID, 0.015. ASD, 0.0185, ADHD, 0.05, catatonia, 0.1, EDS, 0.0003. Here is your math equation, and since I am a shitty fucking YouTuber and not a mathematician, I am not going to do the mathematician community a disservice by trying to even fathom about breaking this down. This is an extremely small probability, approximately 0.00000000008325, or about 1 in 120 billion. The probability is so astronomically high. Here are a list of things that would be more likely to happen: winning the Mega Millions lottery, winning the Powerball lottery, being hit by a fucking rock from space. But do you want to know what the really crazy part is? The statistical probability that somebody's going to lie to you in a casual interaction is about 60 to 70%. So let me know, would you rather take their word for it or get hit with a fucking meteorite? If you enjoyed this content, let me know. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, come be a member of the petting zoo. Let me know if you like this 2-camera thing that I've got going on. I don't know if you will or not. Just let me know down in the comment section. And to Vermin and the Rats, aka the Pillowfort system, aka the statistical anomaly, welcome to the fucking petting zoo. Fucking weird beard, beards weird, bro, weirdo, beard, yo.